Try to be as open-minded as possible when it comes to thrifting. If you come from the countries such as Croatia or Italy, I understand that you might even feel squeamish towards the whole idea of thrifting and wearing second-hand clothes that somebody else wore before you. It's just a part of our culture, I believe. We weren't used on having second-hand shops around, and especially in Croatia, it's not a big tradition, and neither here in Italy. I arrived here, and actually very few people are into thrifting. The ones who are foreigners that have been living, or maybe Italians that lived abroad, that traveled, that kind of spread their horizons. So be open-minded when it comes to thrifting. You never know what you can find. You can find really nice deals there. You can even find brand new clothes. Don't have too high of an expectations, because sometimes it can happen that you can go to a thrift store and come out of it with nothing, because you won't find anything there, or maybe you will find one thing. But sometimes it can happen that, as I've showed you in my whole video, that you can have very successful experience, very successful day, and that you can come out of the thrift store with a huge bag, and that you haven't even spent a lot of money. So definitely don't have too high of an expectations, but go on a hunt, go and see what happens. Definitely arm yourself with patience, and keep your ideas clear. Inform yourself about fashion trends, about things that you are going for, so you won't feel overwhelmed, because when you come to a warehouse that is so huge with all different clothes mixed together, all the sizes mixed together, all models mixed together, it is very hard not to feel overwhelmed, especially if you don't have a lot of time. So I would advise you to, take plenty of time for yourself, for your thrifting experience. Take a day when you have an afternoon off or a whole day off, so you aren't pressured by time, and just dig into it and start going through the clothes, and also be informed on the fashion brands that are good quality. Maybe you should bring your mobile phone with you, just to be able to check on the internet if you find a clothing item that kind of name sounds familiar, but you're not really sure whether it is a good quality brand or it is a high-end designer or not. You can also Google it immediately there, so you'll know what are you purchasing. Another thing, don't be too excited about purchasing the brand names, in terms that if you see that the clothing items, or things that you're planning to buy are branded, high-end designers, but they aren't looking good, they are very used, they are ugly, they are dirty, or they are even stained, then there is no point of buying it. It may be the highest end designer, the most expensive clothing item, but you won't really enjoy wearing it if you see that maybe it's been ruined in the washing, and that the colors have faded. People aren't going to actually go and look at your label. They are going to see the clothing item that you're wearing, and if it's not pretty, what's the point in spending your money on a designer name? Don't fight with your friend over a clothing item that you both want. Who saw it first should take it. This shopping experience definitely isn't worth ruining your friendship, because there will be plenty of other occasions for you and for your friend to find amazing deals and real treasures. So no clothing item is worth risking your friendship. So don't fight over any clothing items. Well, I would like to share you my quick experience because I know what I'm saying when I say that Croatians, Italians and other nations might feel a bit, kind of um, repulsive towards the whole idea of buying second-hand worn clothes just because yeah, like I've said, we growing up we didn't have this type of shops, and it's just a whole strange new idea to us. When I first come to live to London, there were a lot of charity shops. There were a lot of charity shops in the neighborhood where I was living, and charity shops, second-hand shops, everything. And I never even wanted to enter there, and I used to speak to my friends, saying, "Oh, I would never go inside and buy clothing item that's been worn, that's been used." What's the story here? I couldn't just understand all these second shops, but then somebody like curiosity or something convinced me just to go inside to see what's the whole hype about. Why are English people so keen on thrifting. So I went inside and I like discovered my paradise. I mean, seriously, I could spend hours there just going through clothing items, searching for that perfect, clothing item, that perfect hidden treasure, and getting a good bargain out of it. So it's just thrilling, it's just exciting experience, with the whole idea of hunting that clothing item, hunting that hidden treasure, so definitely something to try even with your friends, something that can be very very fun experience. When you're thrifting, you also have to be very careful about all the stains and make sure that the clothing item that you picked is perfect, in perfect condition, that it doesn't have any stain, that it might never come off, that it's not ripped. So be extra careful about also that. Don't forget to wash very very well your thrifted items, sometimes even 2 times. Be particularly careful about the clothing items that can only be washed at dry cleaners. So definitely check the label to see, if you can wash it at home at your washing machine. To bring it to the dry cleaners to wash it there. So these are all, little details that one has to be extra careful about. There might not be a convenient place for you to try the items on. For example, the thrift store where I went, fitting rooms actually had no curtains because they had to remove the curtains because there were shoplifters, unfortunately. So, it's kind of take it or leave it. You have to know your size as well. And actually, if you layer, clothing items in a way that you can easily try the clothing items on, that's not even that big of a deal. For example, if you are dressed for the occasion in a pair of leggings and then layer your tops and cardigans, you can easily try the blazers, the shirts, the cardigans on top of your top that you're wearing as a first layer of clothing, and also all the skirts, all the pants, jeans you can try on top of your leggings, because leggings are basically like tights. They are very long fitting. You just won't make that much of a difference in your size, you know what I mean. So definitely bear this in mind, that you have to dress in appropriate way, that it's very easy for you later to try on the clothes even without a fitting room. When it comes to thrift stores, there are different types of thrift stores. You will find thrift stores that sell very very cheap clothes, that are huge, like warehouses that got nice clothes, but also all the other rags, with the nice clothes all mixed. So you will have to be very patient and kind of lose a lot of time while searching for the right item for you. And then there are second-hand shops that are a bit more of real shops, in terms that the clothing items that are selling are very carefully picked. so they know what are they selling. They aren't, selling everything, and the prices are a bit higher. Here in Italy we don't have as much of second-hand stores as I would want to. In England that was a whole other experience, and it was very, very, nice, very positive experience, definitely. And here in Italy I just know about a couple of places, and I just recently found out about the place that I went to recently, so I did my whole video about it, and I hope a lot of more people will become open-minded about all this thrifting. And so these are my little tips for all of the thrift store beginners. I hope you will love this experience, and do share it with me. Do a video response or comment under this video. I would love to hear all about your thrift store experiences. What do you thrift for the most? And what excites you the most about thrifting?